story.
I am my ancestors' wildest dream. You are your ancestors' wildest dream. We are our ancestors' wildest dream.
And with that being said, I want to welcome you to the land of Cleveland. Let's go! Yeah, I want to welcome you to the land of Cleveland.
Welcome, 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 welcome. I'm your host, Double P. Whenever you drop in, thank you for dropping in. And thank you for supporting for Premier Sports Talk. Double P here with another live airing. Let me know where you're watching from. Boy, it's off season, but boy, there's so much chatter going on in the sports world. It's been busy. We got the vet, Deshaun Watson, trying to reestablish his NFL career in this upcoming NFL season, going against the rising star, Shedeur Sanders. So again, I'm your host, Double P. Whenever you come in, do me a favor, bless the channel, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, if you like what I'm putting down, go ahead and subscribe, share the channel with a family member, and tell them to share it with somebody and share it with another person.
Because we risk up for Shedeur. Prime time. Come on.
We're going to throw our risk up for whoever you support. Again, I'm your host, Double P, host of Premier Sports Talk. So, today's live airing thumbnail title tells us the QB battle, the battle for QB1, Deshaun Watson versus Shedeur Sanders. You know, the world always wants to pit us against one another. You know, and in life, there's always going to be a competition. And we got one hell of a competition coming up here between Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders. And I'm going to touch on this today. I'm going to get out ahead of everybody. Well, I actually ain't out ahead of everybody, but I just want to speak on this evening. Do me a favor. Whenever you come in, be a blessing. Let me know where you're watching from. Hit that like button. And drop your comments in here. I got the chat open, good, bad, or indifferent. So basically, what I want to speak on today is, and what I'm asking you all today is, let's think about this. What happens when we got a veteran quarterback with something to prove whose path collides with an up-and-coming rookie star? Again, when you drop in, I appreciate it. You can let me know where you're watching from. I got the chat open. Hit that thumbs up button. Drop all your comments, good, bad, or indifferent. But let me know what happens when Deshaun Watson, the vet, tries to reestablish his NFL career. Boy, that's a tall mountain to climb against a rising star, Shedeur Sanders, y'all, who's carrying the hopes of the young, of the old, and for a new generation. You know, the aunties, the uncles, people been watching NFL for years. That would be me. Deshaun Watson was a bad man, y'all. He was a bad man when he first started out. But life is about competition. And in sports especially, we all need to be pushed. And I'm going to let you know and let you hear what Tom Brady has to say about those who want to be pushed and those that can't handle being pushed. Again, drop your comments.
People don't want to be pushed that hard.
Yeah.
They want to be pushed to their level of comfort.
Yep.
And once they're outside their comfort zone, they're like, oh, I'm not used to this. Oh, I don't like this. My heart's beating too fast. Or, man, I'm feeling different feelings and emotions. And it's like, that's where the growth lives. You need coaches that push you outside of your comfort zone, because that's how you grow, and that's how you begin to develop self-confidence and self-esteem in what you're doing.
Yeah.
You try, you fail. They push you to deal with the failure. You get another chance to go out and practice it. Then you succeed and you realize, oh, that's what I need to do differently the next time. As opposed to the athletes who try something that's hard, they fail, and now it discourages them from trying the same thing that's hard again.
Yeah.
We heard it from the greatest himself, Tom Brady. A bad man, a bad man. You know, we still, you know, we got the NFL Combine coming up. Then we got voluntary training camp coming up, and then we got training camp starting in April and May. I can't wait for the season to start back up, y'all. This is going to be the most talked about. Y'all see this? The Watson and Shedeur competition. Lines are going to be drawn in the sand. I don't know what side you're on, but like I said, I've been watching college football and NFL for some years, y'all. I got some age on me. I got some wisdom on me, and I'm here to tell you, Deshaun Watson was a bad man. He was a bad man, y'all. He was a bad man. And I got to refresh everybody what Shedeur is going to have to go up against. Now, if you don't know, you're about to know. You know, Deshaun Watson had 2 Achilles tears that set his NFL career back. He had a fractured shoulder, you know, and that's why the Cleveland Browns never got a return on their investment. But this is why, the reason why the Cleveland Browns gave up all their draft picks. Look at Deshaun Watson. This is back in 2020 when he was with the Houston Texans. The man was a bad man. Came out of the University of Clemson. Was a bad, bad man. He had 19 passing TDs, ranked first in the NFL. He rushed for over 269 yards, which was first in the NFL. The man had a cannon. The man was running like Speedy Gonzalez, and he was accurate back in the day before he fractured his shoulder and had injuries. His yards per attempt was 8.3, which was only second in the NFL. And his QBR rating was number 1. Now, I don't personally think that Deshaun Watson is going to get back to that caliber player. But if he can only be 70, if he can come back to 70 or 80% of that, there's going to be a competition, y'all, whether we like it or not. I've been supporting the Sanders family ever since Mr. Deshaun Sanders, Coach Prime, was playing in the NFL. He was somebody I looked up to. Even though I didn't know I was so close to his age, it doesn't matter. I looked up to him. NFL Hall of Famer, Super Bowl winner, not only with the San Francisco 49ers, but with the Dallas Cowboys. Went on and played with the Baltimore Ravens. Played in the MLB. Shedeur got some pedigree in him, y'all. Don't be afraid to drop your comments. Drop your comments. So like I said, a lot of people want to say, just cut Deshaun Watson. Just cut him. They don't need him there. They don't want the chaos. They don't want the embarrassment. They feel like they got to deal with Shedeur, you know, fandom, and they don't want to have him and Watson there because they know how crazy it's going to be. But there's been nothing that Shedeur has done which has the Cleveland media lashes out on him. And it's not just been Shedeur Sanders. It's been every quarterback that's ever been in Cleveland. It seems like the Cleveland media up there, you know, they just have a losing mentality, and they're always looking for the next quarterback, and they never appreciate what they got. But I'm about to show you the reason why the Cleveland Browns and the owner, Jimmy Haslam, just can't get rid of Deshaun Watson right now. Right there in front of our face. This is from Sports Track. This got dropped today. It says the top 2026 cap hits for now. Deshaun Watson has a over an $80 million cap hit if they was to cut him and not allow him to play in this upcoming 2026 NFL season. But see, they can use Deshaun Watson. If they restructure his contract, they can free up some of their money. I'm going to go through these names real quick. But right now, Deshaun Watson has the highest cap hit for the Cleveland Browns. Lamar Jackson has the next highest cap hit, over $74 million. And that's why you hear that crazy talk, even with the Baltimore Ravens, to trade Lamar Jackson. Dak Prescott, $74 million. Jared Goff, $69 million. Josh Allen, $56 million. All this money just to throw the pigskin. Woo! But, you know, the battles, the injuries they go through, you know, their career long. They only get life insurance for 5 years after they only get medical insurance for 5 years after they get out of the NFL. So, you know, I ain't mad at them. I appreciate the bag they got. So, but this is what the salary cap would be for each team. Now, if they restructure their contracts, I know I'm gonna be launching another short video feed tomorrow. It's going to be called the Premier Sports Drop. There's a lot of NFL news that broke out. Kansas City Chiefs Patrick Mahomes restructured his contract so he can free up team for the Chiefs to get some more NFL players. But Jared Goff, if they restructure his contract, it would be his cap hit, which is currently $69 million, would be reduced down to $42 million. And then Lamar Jackson, if he restructured his contract, it can be reduced down to $39 million. Jared Goff was 42. Watson, when he restructured his, which he will be doing, is not optional. He will be doing, is $35 million, and Prescott can drop it from $74 million to $30 million, basically half, y'all. But this is going to be a soap opera. I can't wait to pop the popcorn and get my favorite lemon and lime water and be tapped in up there, Cleveland media, and watching, you know, they calling it the new Cleveland up in Cleveland, y'all. They calling it the new Cleveland. As you come in, do me a favor, hit those thumbs up to help this live feed. Drop your comments in here, whether they be good, bad, or indifferent, and I will make sure that I read them before I close out here. But yeah, it's gonna be something else. So the lines are about to be crossed here, y'all. And what I want to know is who y'all with. Are y'all with Shedeur, or do you want to see Watson get back in there and have a chance to try to reestablish his NFL career? So the media has already been going crazy over Deshaun Watson and Shedeur with this upcoming battle. This is Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. This is G. Bush speaking on Deshaun Watson.
Watson in 2020 was undeniably a top 5 quarterback. Deshaun Watson in 2020 was cooking. This dude was one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And I think as further we get away from it, we kind of forget because there's a disappointment level because we feel like we didn't get the return on investment for what we gave up. And it's been a series of different catastrophes, one after the other. But let's not get it twisted. If you get a 2020 version of Deshaun Watson, what do you mean playoffs? 2020 version of Deshaun Watson, you are a Super Bowl contender.
Woo! Wow!
You get that?
That's what I said when I opened up here. Deshaun Watson was a bad man, and I'm going to play this over again so y'all can all hear and let it sink in your ears. But again, do me a favor. Whenever you do watch this live feed, hit that thumbs up button, drop your comments. The more people that hit the like button, The more people that drop comments, it'll push this live feed out, and I greatly appreciate it. Again, I'm Double P, host of Premier Sports Talk, on the path to 4,000 subscribers. Because without you all support, there is no Premier Sports Talk. But let me tell you what G. Bush, let me play it again what G. Bush is putting down.
Deshaun Watson in 2020 was undeniably a top 5 quarterback. Deshaun Watson in 2020 was cooking. This dude was one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And I think as further we get away from it, we kind of forget because there's a disappointment level because we feel like we didn't get the return on investment for what we gave up. And it's been a series of different catastrophes, one after the other. But let's not get it twisted. If you get a 2020 version of Deshaun Watson, what do you mean playoffs? 2020 version of Deshaun Watson, you are a Super Bowl contender.
Woo! Wow!
You get that?
See, so it ain't just me talking, y'all. It ain't just me. The 2020 version of Deshaun Watson, he was a bad man. Now, this is the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. You just heard Garrett Bush of the G. Bush Barbershops. You know, so supporting what I spoke out of my mouth. Now, let me listen. I'm gonna let you listen to Jay. This is more people. They starting to pit the narrative of Deshaun Watson against Shedeur Sanders. But I look at it from a different lens, y'all. I'm looking at it from a different lens. I'm looking at it from a competition point of view. Iron sharpens iron. So let's listen to another person, Jay up there on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Let's listen to what he got to say. And let me know in the comments, are you rocking with Shedeur or are you rocking with Deshaun? Me personally, I just want to see the competition. And may the best young man win.
World where he came so close to seeing his ultimate demise as an NFL player, right? That perhaps he went into his cocoon. He sort of reinvented himself. What are my priorities? I think football is a bigger priority for him now because he's almost lost it. If Sam Darnold can resurrect his career, I'm not saying it's a huge stretch to think that Deshaun Watson can resurrect his career. So if he goes 8-9 and he's 22 touchdowns, 16 picks, no, he's not coming back. But if he goes 13-4, 12-5, 29 touchdowns, 11 picks.
Well, that's, yeah.
Now we're talking
That's
about we have to reconsider.
Y'all tell me, what are your thoughts? Drop them in the comments. What do you think? You know, again, I'm Double P, host of Premier Sports Talk. You know, already, the Super Bowl just got played 2 weeks ago, but already the media is choosing sides between Shedeur and Deshaun Watson. Fans are choosing sides. It's already crazy, y'all. We got to pop our popcorn. And former players are choosing sides. For me, I like both these young men. I was a big-time Deshaun Watson fan before he got caught up in what he got caught up in. You know, but he turned his life around. He gave his life, you know, born-again Christian. He got married. You know, he settled all the all his off-the-field cases against him. The last two just got closed out last weekend settlements. You know, so there are some people that want to say that Deshaun Watson deserves time and the respect to be a proven veteran, and they want him to get the first team reps when camp start yet up. But then there are others that say they want Shedeur Sanders to represent the new Cleveland, to represent the new generation. Boy, oh boy, like I said, I'm looking forward to this. Social media is already on fire, and they are all over the sports shows. It's just crazy. But there's all kind of subliminal messages that's being put out, a narrative that's being pushed out that's saying the players supporting Shedeur. Already had what Myles Garrett had to say on the previous airing, supporting Shedeur Sanders, saying he looks like the man to be QB1 coming up to start off the new season when training starts. You know, Shelby Harris already came out and said how all the false narrative that was being spoken against Shedeur Sanders. But Denzel Ward has already came out that was at the Pro Bowl with Shedeur, supporting Shedeur Sanders. But people are sending subliminal messages. They're showing the wrist up and letting you know who they support. But also, people are also coming out in interviews now and saying Shedeur is QB1. That's what they feel in their spirit, what they feel in their hearts. And what I'm really going to show you is going to be a surprise to you all, is the person in the end who got their wrist up for Shedeur. That's why I say it's about a competition. It shouldn't be about putting one brother against another brother. It should be about a fair competition and let the best man win. But who do you think he wants to be QB1 for the Cleveland Browns? Rocking his wrist up. Is that a subliminal message? A picture says 1,000 words. Who do you think he wants to be QB1? Between Deshaun Watson and QB1 Jenkins, starting running back for the Cleveland Browns that got injured towards the end of the season. Look what he just had to say about Shedeur.
Shedeur is QB1.
Man, it's fun. Shedeur is, he's a great talent. Also, he's got a good personality. He's fun to be around. Me and him are very attentive to detail in practice.
Oh, nice.
Also, we got personalities. We
Yeah.
spend a lot of time outside of the building, so being with him is cool.
What's he like in the locker room? Is he a leader?
Yeah, I think, to be a quarterback one of any team, you have to have that locker room and have a voice. So I think a lot of the guys believe in him, and just having that relationship with each other, I think it means a lot too.
Now this is ESPN Cleveland, y'all. They draw lines in the sand. They draw lines in the sand, some for Deshaun and some for Shedeur. Listen to this.
Better throws, better decision-making from Shedeur way more recently than I have Deshaun Watson.
You're gonna make decision-making argument off of this. A guy who took a million sacks because he wouldn't get rid of the ball.
I also saw Deshaun take a sack on fourth down.
Not saying that Deshaun's decision-making hasn't been bad, but are you gonna use that argument for Shedeur Sanders?
If everything is equal, I'm going with Shedeur. Is that tough?
That is the argument that you should be making. But to say that you
I just made that argument right there. If everything's equal as what you're saying, you're telling me they both suck. Then I want to go with the young guy that has way more potential than what Deshaun has.
That's fine, and you can have that.
That's my argument now.
Then that's my argument. That's the argument.
Thank you.
I just don't understand how people could say categorically Shedeur Sanders has been better than Deshaun Watson.
Bull. They going in. That's ESPN Cleveland. They going in over Shedeur. And that other guy that was trying to stand up for Deshaun Watson, everybody got their favorites. He wanted to use the argument how Shedeur, holding the ball too long and throwing, getting sacked. His offensive line's been horrible. Offensive line was horrible when he played for the University of Colorado. Matter of fact, some might say that the line for the University of Colorado when Shedeur played there was actually better than the NFL line that he had with the Cleveland Browns. They constantly had to change the starting lineman's rotation because of all the injuries. But even one of the biggest haters on Shedeur, Tony Grossi, is changing the narrative to being positive on Shedeur. I said on my other live airing that I posted, I believe it was on Monday, I think the NFL ownership has put out to the Cleveland beat reporters, changed the narrative on Shedeur. Quit speaking negativeness, not only against Shedeur Sanders, but the entire Cleveland organization. But let's see what Tony Grossi got to say.
Flex the team's attitude. He didn't gush about Shedeur. He said, well, he was the last one standing, and that's pretty much what it is. He was kind of at a loss for words when he asked him about Watson. There's a little pregnant
Tony,
pause there.
All kidding aside, Watson's a lotto ticket. You don't expect to win. You don't expect the thing. But if by chance He could put it all together at some point. He has played at an extremely high level. I just don't know what you have to lose by seeing if Deshaun Watson can play.
Right. I thought that Miles' answer about Deshaun Riz was actually really revealing because there was not 1 ounce of him that was like, hey, man, you know, he's played really well before and we got, you know, like Miles' reaction is the same as the fans, which is we've seen 19 starts of Deshaun Watson and I don't want to watch it anymore.
So that was last week, but Tony Grossi's already changed the negative from being negative, but being positive towards Shedeur. Now, let me give you ESPN Cleveland just 2 days ago.
Odds right now for Brown's starting quarterback, okay? Would Shedeur be your favorite at the moment?
Close. Yes.
Plus, let's say plus 250. Okay?
No, I don't think it's that. You think you're getting better than 2-1?
Okay, plus 180, whatever.
Okay.
What would you put?
Watson
would be second?
Yeah.
What if he's not healthy?
Well, then the odds will change.
All right, okay.
The odds will change. But
Watson
right now,
would be second.
Plus 250 for him.
Plus 250.
180.
250. Dylan Gabriel.
Plus 450.
Okay. Dylan Gabriel plus 450 other.
Plus 550.
Not that much more.
Yeah.
So like I said, that's Tony Grossi, who was really spitting out negative narrative against Shedeur. Shedeur even checked him during the season saying, Tony, why you always got to speak something negative about me when I never did anything against you? You know, he approached Tony Grossi, not in a negative way, but, you know, he walked up to him and asked him, you know, I never did anything negative against you. Why you speak negative words against me? You know, but Tony Grossi's turning around because it's looking like Shedeur Sanders will be QB1 if he's able to win the competition. I think it's really going to be a real competition between Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson. But if you see this picture back here, we got Deshaun Watson and we got Shedeur. You see all that money in the background. One was given the bag of money, and another one had the bag of money stolen from him. Deshaun Watson got a fully guaranteed $230 million contract. Y'all heard me. Because of how good Deshaun Watson was playing in 2020, ranked first and second in all NFL categories as a quarterback. That's why the Browns gave up a cream's ransom to get him, and then he got injured with the 2 Achilles tears and then a fractured shoulder. Deshaun Watson's money is guaranteed. Deshaun Watson, till this day, is still owed $80 million. And if they cut him and don't let him play this season, they would lose in the red cap hit of over $80 million. That's why Deshaun Watson will not get cut. Deshaun Watson got the bag, must be the money, and the NFL kept the bag away from Shedeur. But Shedeur Sanders being a Sanders and his father being Coach Prime, Shedeur plays for the love of the game. He doesn't play for the money. He gets more money in endorsements than what he does in his NFL salary. His first 4-year NFL salary is only for $4.6 million. You know, little over $100 million a year. And when you take out the taxes and then all the people he has to pay for supporting for them, he's definitely only playing for the money. But see, like I said, it's all about the competition. It shouldn't be pitting one young brother against another young brother. You see, during the season, this is Deshaun Watson supporting Shedeur on the sidelines. It's not about pitting one man against the other. They have both respect for each other. It's just now they have to compete against one another. And I'm trying to show the other aspect behind the curtain. They're going to support one another despite all the challenges, despite all the obstacles. Even when Shedeur was in the 4th on the depth chart for the Cleveland Browns before he got his opportunity, he supported Dylan Sampson. He even got up on the podium after a game and said, telling the fans, he's there to support Dylan Gabriel in any way that needs to be supported because that's his teammate, and asked that we would do the same. So when this battle comes up, it should be, let's support both of these young brothers right here in a competition and let the best man win. So I said I was going to show you at the end who got their wrist up for Shedeur Sanders, even though they got to compete against him. This blew my mind. This dropped on social media in the middle of the night. Y'all see that? That's Deshaun Watson when he was on vacation. Deshaun Watson on vacation just 2 weeks ago. Him and his wife. Not only is Deshaun throwing his wrist up, his wife is throwing his wrist up. Both Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson hold a mutual admiration towards each other. And they both want the same thing. The opportunity to play in the NFL as the #1 quarterback. So just remember that when this NFL season starts. I'm Double P, host of Premier Sports Talk.
That's how they distract you. See, they distract you. You get the bag and you feel like you don't need nothing else, but they got your soul. Damn. They took it away from you because you didn't know no better. You gotta know who you are. You gotta know who you are and where you
Throw your wrist up. Hit that like button. Subscribe. Be a blessing. And I hope and pray you and your family.
You are your ancestors'
He's double blessed.
wildest dream. We are our ancestors' wildest dream.
And with that being said, I want to welcome you to the land of Cleveland. Let's go. Yeah. I want to welcome you to the land of Cleveland.
And you know that there can only be one king. You know that there can only be one king. You know that there can only be one king.
I know he said we were praying for him. I know he said we were praying for him. But I know my prayers are heard. I know my prayers are heard.
He can still be saved. He can still be saved. So what are you gonna do?
Just to be sitting in this room. God literally takes the least likely and uses him to spread his word. You guys are such an inspiration to me because I battle daily. I'm like, God, are you sure? Like, God, but in his word, God says we are his masterpieces. He said, I have created you in my image. This year, more than any year of my life, man, I tell you, I have grown to know Jesus Christ for who he is, not for what the world says he is, not for what the church says he is, but for what his word says he is. And, you know, all the accolades are fine, the all pros, the Pro Bowls are fine. But I felt so overwhelmed with joy this year because I said, God, let our light shine so bright before others that when others see us, Lord, they glorify your name. And to see how I've impacted, how I've been an inspiration for the kingdom, that's what I'm most proud about. God has truly been at work. What God's been doing back then, he's still doing now. How God is still changing lives back then, he's changing lives now. And to walk in here and to see all the lives that he's changed, all the people that he's touched, it's just been so beautiful to see. So I'm just so humbled, man, as a 24-year-old, to be shown the stage and to be in this room with a bunch of men who gave their lives to Christ. It gives me so much hope and so much inspiration to know that God is still working. So I appreciate y'all, man.